Hi, it's me again. Hi, it's Nougatbar. I don't know if you noticed, but I think you've noticed. It's actually the same day. I'm knitting all of the... No, I'm not knitting. I'm recording all of these finished objects videos on the same day, and that's why I have the same silly haircut and I am talking nonsense because I'm literally talking to the camera for I don't know how many. Like, I think it's maybe going to be 2 hours by now, but yeah. And I hope that these are useful to you as well. And yeah, so this is the Shifty sweater, but I am not going to talk about this finished objects in this video. This was, I think, the last video that has been up. So if you have not watched that one, feel free to check this one out. It's the Shifty sweater by Andrea, Mowry, and I'll be popping a link in the corner here. So the knit I'll be talking about today is this one, but I haven't brought all of the stuff I wanted to show you. So, I have more props than usual today, and we are losing lighting, so I hope we can stick with this video. But the knit I'm showing you today is, ooh, this looks super nice on camera. So it's this one, and it's the Wetherell by Kiyomi Burgin. And I actually hosted a knit along because I really wanted to knit it, and I had bought the magazine. This one. So the Wetherell by Kiyomi Burgin is a pattern that was in the Amirisu volume 19, and this is the fall winter collection of 2019. So I knit this in 2020, the winter of 2020-2021. So I knit it 1 year after that this was released. And the fun fact is I actually bought this magazine the day it came out because I wanted to knit this pattern. So you do see, like, I have so much stuff I want to knit, but I'm not that fast of a knitter. So I held this knit along because I really wanted to knit this since the day it came out, and I had just had so many stuff on the needles that I just hadn't come around it. So that's why I held the knit along, and thanks to that knit along I got a sweater out of it. So this is the pattern. Wait. So this is the pattern, and I saw this photo on most likely Instagram, because that's where I get all my knitting inspiration, should I say so. And as soon as I saw the photo, I was like, oh, I have to knit this one. And I went out to buy the magazine. At that point I lived in Paris, so I went to La Bien-Aimée the day it was released, and sadly enough it wasn't ready on that day. So I think I popped in the shop like 3 times because I really wanted to get it. But you know, like, it's a Japanese magazine, so the time it comes to Europe and stuff and they figure out the stock and stuff, I couldn't get it on the day of the release. So I did, like, have to pop in the shop about 3 times, I think. But yeah, I was really happy to get it. But I don't think that there's a lot of other patterns I really want to knit in the magazine, so well, that's a shame, but I did really want to knit this sweater. So yeah, but for other people who are interested in knitting this sweater, it's been a while that the magazines have been around, so this is available as a single pattern on Ravelry, so you can buy the single pattern if you don't want to buy the whole ebook. So there you go. So this is a complete finished object. I have knitted it. Oh no, yeah, of course I've knitted, but I have washed it. I don't block sweaters, so I've washed it, I've woven in the ends, and I've also put my little signature tag on. So that's done. So here you go. Pum! So I knit the medium size. I didn't make I didn't knit a swatch, but I figured that I was knitting the same yarn as the yarn suggested in the pattern, so I knit this in the Plötulopi. I knit this in the Plötulopi yarn, and the colours I've used are the same as the ones suggested in the pattern. Due to the lighting, this does come out like super vibrant red, but like it is a real red, but I don't know if it's like this primary red vibrant. But well, so I used I think it's the red heather and maybe the beige heather. I'm not sure, the light beige heather, but I'll be writing like everything in the subtitles, but also like all the information related to the pattern and the yarn I'm using will be in the down bar below. But basically it's the same yarn as in the pattern. So I knit the medium size because it was the one that the model was wearing, and I figured I liked the fit, so I went with that one. But actually I only used up 1 4/5 of the main color. So the pattern says that you need 3 plates. So this is the Plötulopi by Istex. So I bought 3 of the main color, but I didn't even touch this last one. So I have quite a lot of yarn left. And I did say that in my knitting podcast that I wanted to knit a matching sweater for my dog. My dog is not in these little finished object videos, but he's all around my other videos, so if you want to check out my dog, you can check out like pretty much any video and he'll be popping out anywhere. But I am still thinking about making a matchy sweater with my for my dog with the same yarn and based on the same pattern, but I haven't started it or really thought through the process yet, and maybe next year or maybe for next year. So yeah, so I do have quite a decent amount of yarn left, and the thing is this might be a very new to you yarn for most of the people, but this is a carded yarn, carded unspun yarn. So basically it's unspun, so there's no there's no spin to it. Does this make sense? But it's unspun. Basically it's unspun, and so it's just carded yarn that has been made into these mini rovings. So it means that they're super delicate. So if you put too much strength on the yarn, they just break up super easily, like this. So it was a little bit hard, especially to cast on, but once I was knitting on it, I didn't have any issues with it. But I know that there's a lot of people who do have a hard time with this particular type of yarn because it's just so fragile. But personally, I had a great time with it, and I really liked this yarn. It isn't the softest yarn, so it is Icelandic wool, so it is quite scratchy. So if you're not scratch tolerant or wool tolerant, this isn't the yarn for you. But personally, I really liked it, and I actually bought more plates of it because I'm going to knit another sweater in this yarn. So this shows how much I was satisfied with this yarn, but I know that this is not a yarn for everybody, so do take that in count. And there's a lot of hair. Basically it's unspun, so you do also get a lot of hair whoopsies, I don't know how to call this, but when you knit when you knit alpaca or mohair, there is a lot of fluff coming out of the yarn, and this yarn as well does have a lot of hair going around. So if you have allergies, maybe it might not be the yarn for you. I do have allergies as well, and some days I would have a lot of allergic reaction to it, so have a lot of nose drooling and all the glorious stuff happening. But still, I really love this yarn, and I feel that it's really strange because sometimes it feels scratchy and sometimes it feels so soft. It's really, really strange, but yeah. And for me, it's more on the softer side now that I've got used to it. And also, since this carded yarn is super light, so my finished object is super light, but it's super warm at the same time. So it's very strange, and I really like it. And also, but however, since the yarn breaks easily, I don't think it's possible to do any Kitchener stitching with this. And most of the time I like to bind off in Kitchener stitch, but like I couldn't do this. I couldn't Kitchener stitch, so this was just like bind off in pattern, but I guess it was fine. And then what else? Like I did have to sew the underarms, but I had to felt the yarn in order to sew with it, because otherwise it was just breaking and sewing with it was impossible. But otherwise, I really loved the yarn. When I washed the garment, it did smell very sheepy in the house. But otherwise, like once I've washed it, it's fine. So I guess the yarn is supposed to be really like rustic and sheepy, so that's normal. But here you go. This is the Wetherell sweater by Kiyomi Burgin. It's a bottom-up sweater, strangely enough. So you start from the bottom and you go up. So you knit the sleeves and you knit the body. So in the pattern, it does suggest you to knit the sleeves first. There's no particular reason for it, but it's just written that the sleeves are knit first. But I started with the body because I was undecisive on what I wanted to do with the sleeves, because you can see that the sleeves are super wide and I wasn't sure if I wanted to knit the sleeves super wide. So I was like torn in I was like questioning myself if I should modify the pattern, if I should add ribbon, or if I should knit a smaller size for the sleeves. And then I just couldn't bother like tweaking the pattern, so I just knit as the pattern said. So the sleeves are quite large, but I think that it's just a design element, and it doesn't really bother me that much in my daily life, but just when I'm eating, I do have to like figure out some way to not to avoid this falling into my food. And someone's barking. It's not Nougat, but like he's barking outside, and like I don't know like how we can hear that so loud, but yeah, so that's basically it. So you knit bottom up until you knit bottom up, and then you join the three separate pieces, and then you knit the yoke. So this took the most knitting time for me to do, because I don't really like plain stockinette, and so I was so looking forward to knit the yoke, and I think I knit the yoke in like 1 or 2 days because it was so enticing. And yeah, and then I knit according to the pattern, but I do think I have a little bit of a different gauge than the original pattern, because I think that in the pattern, like in the photo, this diamond stitch does fall lower than what it did for me, so it did hit quite high. And then I had another like decision making to do, because this didn't have any short rows. So no, it did have short rows, but for me it wasn't enough short rows, and I don't like boat necks, so I always need short rows in my knitting because I prefer having a tighter neck opening. So I added, I think, 3 sets of short rows in order to tighten up the neck opening. And then what I did was I bound off the stitches and then picked up the stitches in order to do the neck bands. So in the original pattern, there's no binding off and picking up stitches. You just knit in the pattern and then you just do ribbon to finish, in order to finish the pattern. But I wanted just a little bit more strength in the neck opening, so I bound off and picked up the stitches. That's why you can see like there's this line. It's because I had bound off and then picked up the stitches. If you don't bind off and pick up the stitches, it's just like it just flows into into the ribbon, and it doesn't have a lot of support because it's just like it's just a continuity of fabric, and I figured I wanted a little bit more support in this area. because sometimes in those patterns I do find that the neck does stretch out and I don't really like it. So I did that, and then also another modification I did. So in the original pattern, the ribbon for the neck is just like it hits at a very strange spot. So at first I did as recommended in the pattern, but I felt like I did say that already the diamond was hitting quite higher than what it looked like it was supposed to do. So it was really strange, and I don't really have a high neck, so it looked like I didn't have any neck, so that was really strange. So I was torn in between having doing a shorter ribbing for the neck, or otherwise knitting it longer and then folding it down. So that's what I did, and actually I really like it. So I'll show you how it looks like when I wear it. Pew! Yay! So this is how it looks like when I wear it. So it's a super light fabric, but super warm. So it's hard to wear it indoors because it's so warm. And due to COVID, I don't really go out. So sadly, I haven't worn it a lot, but I really like the outcome of it. So it does have the little problem of yoke sweaters where it does like bunch up here, but I figure that it's not the worst because some other yoke sweaters really have problem here, but there's no like strange fit-in issue in the colorwork section. I did really put an effort to do the colorwork properly and not have tight floats. I will put a clip here in the inside. I should have just shown it before putting it on, but I did do I don't know how it's called, but I'll try to put it in the subtitles. It was a technique that I learned from the Isbray sweater from Skein Knit. It's where you like make a double stitch in the back side, so you don't see it in the front, but in between these colorwork portions, so you can see that there is quite a lot of like a lot of stitches between the colorwork here, especially like this area. So what you would do like is make a double stitch in the inside so it's not visible in the outside, but you will make a stitch that is in the back. So for the red color, there would be like a stitch in the middle here. So it means that the float has a stitch. The float has an invisible stitch in the inside that helps secure those floats not to have too long floats. I do not know if I make sense, but I'll try to pop in a video that kind of illustrates what I've been talking about, but yeah, I hope it makes sense. So I did that in order to like help out with having any issues with having a tight colorwork and having thus too tight of a yoke. So I think that paid it, that was worth it, because I'm actually quite satisfied with how this colorwork turned out, and yeah, this yoke is really pretty, and I would have never thought of wearing a red sweater because I just don't really wear red, but this looks really pretty, don't you think so? I think that this really looks nice. And this is all thanks to the pattern. So yeah, so at first I was really disappointed when I received the yarn because the beige looked really light. I thought it was nearly like an ivory or white color in the magazine, but when I got it, it was this sort of grey beige color. So I was quite disappointed, but since I've knitted with it and I've seen it so much that actually it looks really nice. So yeah, that's pretty much all for the pattern. I didn't make any real modifications except the short rows in the neck and the folded neck that I made, and the colorwork management system I did for the color work. The rest, I followed the pattern to a T. I did have a little problem like casting this on, so I think that this I cast this sleeve on first, and you can see that like the red portion of it is a little bit thin. That's because like I had a hard time casting on with this yarn, and as I've told you, it's when you put too much tension on the yarn, it becomes so thin, and it does break as well. So I had such a trouble casting on with this yarn because I tried to pull on the casting on stitches and stuff, so it did turn out a little bit thin. But I learned on the second try that the key to it is just do not try to pull those cast on stitches to the end. And once I figured that out, so not pull those cast on stitches, I'm really satisfied with this cast on the edge. It's not too thin, you see, it does have this oomph to it, and I really like it. So this pattern is really super cute, and personally I really love the yarn, so I'm gonna try to. I bought this light grey, I think it's light grey and black, in order to knit the rosette sweater by I don't know the designer, but it's a Japanese designer. I'm a little bit worried because I don't really like certain design elements of that sweater, but I really love the color work, that's the yoke color work, so I'll have to figure out if I need to make any modifications, but I'm really looking forward to that one as well. And yeah, I hope you liked my sweater. If you have any questions regarding the pattern, maybe I'll be able to give a little bit of insight. I hope that the dogs barking in the background are not too loud because they are barking. I hope you liked this video. Feel free to subscribe if you do want to follow my other knitting adventures. I am trying to come up with regular English videos, so I hope you like them, and feel free to comment down below if there's other like knitting related content that you do want to see, because I am gonna try to have regular English videos. Yeah, bye bye.